Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your questions about immigration. Put your questions in the comments now. Tonight, I'm only focusing on questions. So put those questions in the comments so I can get straight to answering questions tonight. Hello, good night. Hello on Instagram. Nice to see you. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments so I can answer it. So to start out, yes, I am seeing news on immigration still. So, right now they are saying anticipating the end of parole program for Ukrainians. So that is something that's coming. And in addition to that, they may be targeting, or they are targeting, families and unaccompanied minors for deportation. So that is happening right now. Those are targets, and unaccompanied minors, families, so undocumented families who already have deportation orders. So, it continues, but I don't have any more news about or any additional updates other than that. But tonight, I do want to focus on your questions because I know you have many. So put those questions in the comments now, and I'll answer those questions. I'm going to start on Instagram. What happens if the immigrant parents have kids? Do the kids have an option to go with their parent? So that is unclear. No, it is always the option. If you have a US citizen child, this is always an option to bring your children with you. I don't know if you're talking about leaving the country with your children. That is permissible because you're the parent. You can make that decision and it wouldn't affect your children's US citizenship. Um, Based on they know there is a possibility of separation from children again. I've been hearing talks about that, but they're also saying they're going to detain families together. And while I really don't want to see that become a reality, um, it sounds like if they're detained together, it's going to be undocumented children with their parents. When it comes to US citizen children, it's unclear how they plan to handle that situation. If your employer threatened to call immigration on you while working for them, are you eligible for VAWA if you've been working on a tourist visa? No, but the T status may be an option here. Now, if the employer threatened to call immigration because maybe you weren't working up to their standard, you had expressed some desire to stop working or to leave, and then they start to force you to work by using that threat, that can qualify you for the T status. So give us a call. That's exactly what we work with. And right now, the T visa does offer protection against deportation. Right now, my clients are getting what's called bona fide determination letters that immediately puts a stay on any removal proceedings and protects clients. If you are on a plane and a bona fide determination, and when I say on a plane, if you're on a plane to be deported and you get issued a bona fide determination, that can get you off the plane. So it is an important document, and I'm telling my clients to walk around with the bona fide determination as if it is their own identification. It's that important. And so the T status can provide protection while you wait for a final decision. Is it okay to do divorce this time? I guess I'd have to figure to know what the context of it is. How do I get a British passport if my husband has a British passport? I'm not a British immigration attorney. You'd have to talk to a British immigration attorney. Hello, good night, self love expert, original. It's nice to see you. How can I change my name after marriage? So usually you go through the steps of, now I am not an expert on changing the name, but I believe, and it's absolutely not required for the immigration process. I mean, married couples do it, but it's not a requirement. So keep in mind that's usually the least of my worries is a change of name. But if just this is just general information, it's not even immigration related, but you just go to Social Security, change your driver's license, change your passport by showing that you're now married. You like showing your marriage certificate. Hello on YouTube. Yes, I see. She's right. I have one. I think you're talking about the bona fide determination. Yes, we have been getting those for our clients, and that has been great. They are coming through right now, I would say 2 to 3 months after filing. Do we need a joint sponsor and household members' income together? Is 33 total. Um, you're I can't tell you because I don't know your household size. So your everybody's income together is 33,000, but I would still need to know household size to be able to tell you. Go to the I-864P and you'll be able to see there. See the household size to see if the 33,000 is enough. How long do you have to wait on I-864 and I-864A? So they usually, if it's the last document they need, you could be getting a decision within 2 to 6 months. You know, Right now, we are seeing a lot of changes. A lot of federal workers are being fired, including immigration people at Homeland Security. So far, the last I checked, it was at 400. They've been terminating immigration judges. So, what we are going to see are longer processing times for sure, because there is very little there's already very little manpower to go around to get these applications completed, and now we are going to have a shortage. I do have one update too. So the next proposal that they have that's coming down the pipeline is they are going to check everybody's social media accounts. So now they're probably going to ask for those, in all applications. All applications, they're going to start examining people's social media accounts. That was a practice before, especially if you were applying for a visa at the embassy. They would ask for your handle. That was not on the other forms. But if they do that, which I think is going to come around very shortly, they're going to start asking for your social media handles, and they're going to start looking at what you're posting. Now, this is related to the vetting, the vetting that Trump has now ordered in one of his executive orders, meaning they're taking it to another level where they're looking to see, do you have an ideology that is compatible with the United States ideology? Have you expressed anything that is anti-American? Anything that may indicate threats? And they will also examine your social media to see if there's anything that contradicts your application, where they may start to accuse you of fraud. So you have to be very careful with your social media accounts now, because that is coming down the pipeline. If you lost your citizenship certificate and passport, is it okay to send back for one? No, I absolutely. I don't know your situation. Keep in mind, I'm not your attorney. I can't give you personalized legal advice. It's best for you to explore. If you have any concerns, explore those concerns, but best for you to take action to get those replaced as soon as possible, but get legal advice, especially if you're concerned about something. Hi there, Each. It's nice to see you. What is the main reason for termination of immigration case by NVC? If So if you take too long, the NVC is the National Visa Center. If you do not communicate with them for over a year, so you go past a year without communicating with them, without submitting documents to them that you need to submit, then they close out your case. You may be able to get it reopened, with good reason. Hi, can I fly domestically with my unexpired passport? I'm out of status. I'm in South Carolina. Keep in mind, I can't give you legal advice, but what I would say, the risk isn't zero, and right now it's extremely high. So flying right now, going through airports is risky business. Um, I married in 2021. I am still waiting for a visa interview for husband in Ghana. How much longer? So it depends on where you are. If you're waiting for the visa interview, I think you might be documentarily qualified already. And the interviews are taking 1.5 to 2 years. So it is very frustrating right now. For clients, it's frustrating for me as the attorney for consular processing. It does take a long time. Um, I remember the days it used to be 6 months. I remember everything from beginning to end when the spouse was in another country, from beginning to end, 6 months. No, that is no more. That was years ago, years ago. If my US citizen spouse gets in trouble with the law during my process of adjusting status, will my petition be declined? Not necessarily. It depends on what kind of trouble. If it's trouble involving a minor, maybe it's going to cause your case to be denied because they're stopping the petitioner who's a US citizen from petitioning, banning them from petitioning. But if it has nothing to do, it's under the Adam Walsh Act, where they protect, if there's past crimes involving a minor, then there's a problem. If not, it shouldn't be a problem to stop the spouse from petitioning for you, except, if the spouse is in jail, sometimes that can create delays, maybe even denials if they can't show up to the interview. So you just have to be very careful and navigate that very carefully. Now, keep in mind the stakes are a lot higher now because of their notice to appear policy. Everybody's going through it. Marriage based, everybody's on the at risk here. Any applications that go in, so make sure you you understand that one mistake could mean you're getting a notice to appear because the mistake led to a denial and the denial led to a notice to appear. And that makes your case much more complicated. So do it right. If you are going through any kind of immigration petition, give us a call. Let's talk about it. Make sure you qualify for it, and then get started with an experienced immigration attorney like ourselves, that we can get you through the process. We can help you navigate it. We do this every day. And I know that's not your life every day is not immigration. My life every day is immigration, which means that I'm able to navigate this much easier than the average person. So you want to make sure you understand the stakes are much higher now. Thank you so much, Angela. It's nice to see you. Thanks so much. It's really has been a pleasure being a part of my clients' lives, being a part of their story as to how they journeyed to status here in the United States. That is uh, the kind of impact that I'm grateful that I'm having here, is that I get to be a part of someone's journey and their story. I'll be a part of the story to their children and grandchildren. Even if they don't mention me, I know that I am a part of that. And just to know that is so fulfilling. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, so now I'm on TikTok. Hey, my VAWA case just got transferred to NBC after 34 months. Do you think I'm going to get a decision? You may get a decision, yes. 34 to 40 months is the amount of time it's taking to get a decision. So you should be getting one soon. So I said 36 to 41 is like the average time. What happens if I have asylum pending and also file for I-130 and it gets denied? I-130 gets denied, but if you still have a pending asylum, you shouldn't be getting a notice to appear because you still have an asylum case. It has to be after the asylum. Now, keep in mind too, if you do get a denial, you need to quickly review your appeal options because the appeal options can help. If you're filing an appeal, it may put a stop to the notice to appear being issued because you're going through a process that you're entitled to go through, which is the appeal process, before they can issue it. During the last Trump administration, that's how it worked because the notice to appear policy is not new. But during the last administration, if you went ahead and exercised your right to appeal, then it would put a hold on the notice to appear and you'd have the chance to appeal the decision first. What if I'm a citizen, but my child is a green card holder? How do I get the child to become a citizen? So if you became a citizen while your child was still under 18 and a green card holder, then it's likely your child has automatically gotten citizenship as a result of you becoming a US citizen. Or if they became a green card holder, you're a citizen, you sponsor them, they became a green card holder, they can automatically become a citizen. You'd have to apply for their passport or go for their citizenship certificate at the USCIS. Will a travel ban for Afghanistan affect the I-130? So I have not seen the details of the travel ban. Yes, a travel ban is coming down the pipeline as well. Travel bans for certain countries, which it would be like the Muslim ban, but I haven't seen the details on the travel ban yet. During the last administration, the travel ban did not affect immigrant visas, meaning if a spouse was petitioning for a spouse, they could come. So certain relatives could still come in with a travel ban, but anybody else, no, you weren't allowed to travel in. So I want to do the K1 visa for my partner, need help, get in touch with us for sure. Now, the K1 visa is a fiance visa. So if you're a US citizen here, you want to petition for your fiance who is in another country, then the fiance visa is going to be the option. You have to show three things. You have to show that you are engaged, that you intend to get married in a bona fide way. This is not just an arrangement. That you have met in the most recent 2 years before the application and met in person within the most recent 2 years. You can show there are exceptions to the meeting in person rule if there was extreme hardship involved that prevented the meeting from occurring, then there could be a waiver involved, but it just depends on the circumstances. For example, if there was a travel ban. And the other is you have to be a US citizen. The petitioner has to be a US citizen, the fiance. But in regards to travel ban and for Afghanistan, keep in mind we have to wait to see. It might be worse than the last one. So we have to see what they're gonna say in the release of the travel ban. File FAWA in November, receive prima facie in 20 days. How long for work permit and travel document? So usually 6 to 12 months if you applied for an adjustment of status application. AP approval without signature, is it still okay to travel? I'm not sure how that was without a signature. Was it the form that you submitted was without signature? Um, I don't know. It just depends. I think this is where you definitely have to present this in a consultation where we can see the document. Can I file for my father even if he got deported back in 2019? If so, what are the steps? Now, usually we'd have to figure out why he was deported. Sometimes people are permanently barred from coming back, or they have to wait at least 10 years to reapply before they come back into the country. So it just depends on the circumstances. I would say this is definitely where we have to talk in an appointment. Go ahead, give us a call. Let us talk. Go ahead, talk to us about your issue, and then let's get started on an appointment where we can evaluate what's going on, your facts, and then talk about solutions. Legal permanent resident can go now out of country if he has no cases, all taxes are done. Permanent residents can travel. There are just certain, if you have certain issues in your background you're concerned about, that's where you need to be more cautious. Just don't stay outside of the country for more than 6 months, and don't take this as personalized legal advice just because I'm not your attorney and I don't know your facts. So if you're really concerned, make sure you talk to an attorney. Can someone that gets security clearance checks for government marry someone with a work permit in a file? So, work permit means they have permission to be here. So, now I don't, it just depends on what kind of clearance you're getting, what kind of job you're getting. It may affect the job requirements, they may have very specific requirements. You have to check with them. um, Generally, you can marry someone with a work permit, and maybe if you're a U.S. citizen, maybe you would be able to help them with additional options. But as in regards to your security clearance at this job, marrying somebody who has a work permit, I don't know. It just depends on the specifications. They may have very stringent rules about who you marry or whether you can get the job if you're married to certain people. So you have to check with the job on that. Uh, how long does it take to get receipt notice for VAWA? I would say 2 to 8 weeks, 8 weeks during the busy times, which is now a busy time right now. So if it takes a little longer, don't panic. I usually make sure we track all our packages so that we can at least confirm it got there. So now is not the time to do your own paperwork. You're never going to hear me say do your own paperwork because the stakes are too high right now. I've never encouraged anybody to do their own paperwork, but this is where we can help to alleviate some of the stress because we do all of that for our clients. We tell them what we need, and then we get to work, and we really take that stress off of them about where to file, what to file, whether it got there. We monitor all of that. What if I'm a citizen but my child? So I answered that. Waiting for a visa interview, what should we expect? I guess. What should we expect? It depends on what kind of visa interview. Thanks so much for the rose, Ganesh. I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow, Fergie. So I am an SIV green card holder since Afghan will be banned to enter the US with my wife is waiting. So we have to see. We have to see what the specific text of the I guess executive order is going to say here. The last one allowed certain relatives to still join their people here in the US despite the ban. But I don't know what this one is going to say. Things seem to be a little more intense, so we have to wait and see. I want to try to stay as neutral as possible where I can and not add too much negativity where there is none. So let's wait and see what the text says. Do I have to notify USCIS to hold my marriage base I-485 if I apply for FAWA? Yes, absolutely. You want to let them know to hold your I-485 in place, or hold it in abeyance. And you can get in touch with us. We can review your case and, take your case if it qualifies. I do recommend you, once again, don't DIY your case. Whenever we're doing this for our clients, we actually do that process for them. Can you expedite a military spouse PIP? You can always request an expedite, but it's going to depend on the circumstances. For example, if the spouse is going to be deployed, that may warrant an urgent request. So they may go ahead and do the expedite, but you have to call the general number, submit the expedite request. A retired person can become a co-sponsor, yes, as if they can show sufficient retirement income, yes. After I-140 approved, can I withdraw asylum? I know it is a possibility to withdraw the asylum, but is it a good idea? What's the situation in your case? I usually want to know all of that before we advise, to withdraw. Is it safe to travel by road? I don't have any context here. Keep in mind that right now, while it sounds ominous, I think these are serious times and nowhere is really safe. Um, is there more risk with traveling one way than the other? I would say flying, you're going through the airport, flying would be more risky for sure. Certain public transportation, like maybe bus stops, Greyhound buses, they may experience checkpoints where immigration can board the buses and board the trains and review whether there are any people there without their legal papers. But I would say the one that presents the highest risk would definitely be the flying by air, because you're so close to the border patrol there, the CBP. My I-601A was approved in February 2025. How long is it taking to get an appointment in Lima? So can't tell you offhand how long it's taking in Lima. What I can say is based on my experience around the world, I'm noticing it's about a year and a half to get appointments on average. So I've represented clients in um, lately. So lately, back in the day, as I said before, 6 months. But lately in Jamaica, it's like a year and a half. In Kenya, it's a year and a half to 2 years. Nigeria, it's a year and a half to 2 years. So I'm seeing consistently that the timeline is a year and a half to 2 years for consular processing. Um, All right, that's gonna be it for me. I see a few more questions I'm gonna answer, and then I'm gonna head out and get ready for tomorrow. I filed for VAWA November 19, 2024. Today I've not received my I-797 receipt notice. The first thing we do when it's taking really long is to see did. Thank you so much for the gifts on TikTok. I really appreciate it. Look to see did they get it. If they got it, then it's really a matter of waiting, because they got it. You would have to wait to get the correspondence from them. U.S. citizen, parent, sponsor, adult, unmarried, children. Priority date is 2018. Case NVC. How long again for green card interviews? So I this it takes a while. So 5 to 7 years from the date of filing for this situation. Um, yeah, so I said 5 to 7 years from the date you filed. Hi there, Celia. Nice to see you. My vowel status shows transferred to another jurisdiction. What does that mean? They're just shifting the workload. My vowel status shows transferred. Yep. So it's normal. So with the T visa, so here the question: do you have any clients with C1D visa holder apply for T visa and approved? I have had clients with because what happens with the C1D is that there really is a bar on adjustment of status if you oversee a C1D visa. C1D visa is crewman's visa. Usually people that work on ships and airlines, they get a special visa so they can transfer from the plane, or transfer from plane to plane or ship to ship, and they get the special visa. They're very strict on the C1D that if there is an overstay, it will likely not lead one to get their paper. So even if you married a US citizen, and the US citizen spouse sponsored you, you would not get the paperwork. The only exceptions here would be the T visa would be one, U visa, also getting a VAWA if you're being mistreated by the spouse. So this is where a cash, yes, it is when it comes to C1D, a T visa can be approved if you ended up on a C1D, but we have to know what your facts are to be able to tell you whether your case is winnable. Was it trafficking? Because the T visa is related to trafficking. Was it related to the C1D visa? Did they induce you to overstay the C1D visa to accept work? What were your facts? We'd have to know that to really understand here maybe the limits of the C1D, whether we'll even need a waiver for the C1D. So get in touch with us. That's exactly what we do. Can I apply for a green card before reaching 1 year? So you have to show 1 year of continuous presence in the US after you get your asylum. I think that's what you're talking about. If my case was denied and they give you 33-day letter to reopen, but your lawyer requests a FOIA, should I be worried? So the lawyer is doing the FOIA to just do their due diligence on the case. That's really important because they want to see maybe if there's some background information. But at the same time, you need to meet that deadline to either appeal, if you do qualify for appeal, to either appeal or to reapply for it. I got CAT since 2017. My daughter became a mechanical engineer in nuclear base. Can I apply through her? So no, if she is getting her green card based on her position, you wouldn't be able to apply. Now, when she becomes a U.S. citizen, then she may be able to apply for you. But we would still have to be looking at, how did you um, the cats, were the procedures you had to go through in immigration court, and could it possibly interfere with an adjustment of status? If a 17-year-old has an IR2 immigrant visa, can I apply for his passport instead of the green card? So if you're a citizen, your 17-year-old then got their green card. Immigrant visa is not a green card. They have to enter the country with the immigrant visa, and then they become a green card holder. Once they become a green card holder, they're under 18, you're a US citizen, then they become citizens. you would have to apply for their passport. So keep in mind though, you definitely want to get in touch with us and talk to us about it. So because I can't give you legal advice. So I can't tell you to go do that, but it is a possibility. Can travel on my green card. If you're really concerned, schedule an appointment and let's talk. Generally, what a green card holder can travel on the green card, but if you have a removal order, if you're in removal, if your case citizenship got denied, if you have a criminal record, I would say slow down and make sure you figure that those out. Make sure you understand the implications here. And I would say understand the risk of traveling out of the country with those complicated things, because there is a pattern of them sending people back, trying to get them to sign, surrender their green cards, or sending them to an immigration judge to defend the green card. What if you get married? Can you start your paperwork, or do you have to wait 3 months? Um, I don't know. What are you concerned about? That's what I'd want to know. When you say 3 months, usually there's no time limit. But why 3 months here? This is where we definitely want to talk to you. But this is why we're here. We're here to navigate these process without you making detrimental mistakes. God, grace, and mercy. I love that name, by the way. Yes, I'm glad that. Okay, so I see somebody else answered the question. Can I travel on my green card? Okay, and so yes, a lot of people on their green card they're nervous, but don't take any information or advice from anybody because now you have a lot of village lawyers. Go to an actual lawyer. Okay, I know we have to support each other, but um please make sure that you also know you need to talk to a lawyer, talk to a professional, get the information from the right person about these immigration questions, because there's very little room for error here. So you don't want to take it from the information from anybody. How much is it for the consultation? And if I got divorced while I-751 is still pending, does it automatically cancel extension of green card? Great question here. So the consultation is right now it's 150, but keep in mind that we offer, in order to not waste your money, not waste your time, we're offering free initial evaluations. And what that means is that I've had so many people say, oh, before I schedule, I want to know if you can help me. So that's exactly what we do. So the team looks to see if you qualify for our assistance. Is it a case that we can take? And we definitely do take I-751s. Then we do a little digging to see what is going on with the I-751. And then we move forward with a strategy session. Now, I've had a number of these, and what I would say here, if you got divorced, it doesn't automatically cancel the extension, but you don't want to be sitting there and ignoring, just making the process go by without informing them that you got divorced. That's going to lead to a denial. So it's going to lead to a very unpleasant surprise. You have to submit a formal waiver now based on the divorce. So this is where we definitely do work with our clients on that. And we just got an approval for a client who's now going to go for U.S. citizenship. So, go ahead and make sure you get in touch with us and we can walk you through the process. Will expedition form speed? So I'm not sure what the expedition form is. Is it expedite? I'm not sure. I'm Steph. I'm Steph RZZ. You're welcome. Okay. I can apply T visa. I'm working and ship in U.S. water. So get in touch with us. Let us talk to you, and let's find out what your facts are. I want to understand your facts. Um, so T visas can always take more than 18 months. So yes, there are always cases that take more than 18 months. The average is around 12 to 18 months right now, but there are cases that can go for 18 months. I filed for on November 19th. Okay, so I got that already. And then let me quickly just look at a few questions here on TikTok, and then I have to go to my bed. My I-130 was submitted by my LPR spouse, but now I'm out of status. Would the I-130 still be approved? I-130 would still be approved, but where's the I-485? Did you apply for the I-485 under the correct conditions? If you didn't apply for it within the time you should have applied while maintaining your status, that's going to be a big problem. So get in touch with us, talk to us about it, and we can guide you on it. But you need to do that ASAP to understand the risk here. My spouse got a baby for another man while I'm on my 2-year green card. That can be a big problem. They are looking out for things like that in the applications. So if there was infidelity, you're working through it, then you need to possibly address that um, in your application. And keep in mind how you address it, when you address it, all of that are those are the strategies, the things that we worry about. Because it may be all about timing, it may be all about facts, what happened in the case. If you are not no longer married because your spouse did that to you, then you have a number of options to be able to get your 10-year green card without involving the spouse at all. Either by showing divorce or showing it mistreatment. Surely a situation like that is a red flag for abuse. How can you reach me? Scroll to the top of the comments, you'll see the phone number. Also, go into the link in the profile. On this profile page, you will see the link to go ahead and go to the website. Then you can sign up to do the free initial evaluation there, so you can start there. Link in profile. How long does I-130 take to get approved if you are married to a US citizen? So 9 to 12 months. I'm an international student and I didn't do OPT, but I have a state ID. Can I travel domestically? I can't tell you whether you can travel. Just know that the risk is very high right now when it comes to traveling. I travel with my work permit to another state. Will I be stopped at the airport? So if you have a valid current work permit, then that is a form of ID you may be able to use. So, and this is proof that you do have permission to be here. So you're less likely to be stopped or detained. But keep in mind, the risk is never zero. Can someone travel on a conditional green card, or would you have to wait for the 10-year? You can travel on the conditional. Just make sure you're not facing deportation. You haven't gotten a notice to appear. You haven't had any criminal records or arrests lately. Um, make sure if you're divorced, make sure if you're applying for the 10-year, that you've explained that already. You're applying based on divorce, because those are issues that may come up while you're traveling. They may find certain things that they may want to question you about. You don't want to You want to make sure the conditions are right for you. How much years to take approve the VAWA? So I've seen it as short as 2.5 years right now, and it's going over a little over 3 years. Let's see. Do you guys work up in, we represent Arizona, we represent clients in all 50 states. So we can help you no matter where you are. My case is reopened. I'm worried. So yes, if you didn't request your case to be reopened, then there's an no there may be a worry there. They are placing a lot of emphasis on removing people where they find misrepresentation or fraud in the applications, which has always been the case, but they are putting extra emphasis on that now. I sent in RFE for Med in May last and haven't heard anything since. Any chance of approval? Yeah, if you submitted your correct medical, that's all they wanted, then it might just be a waiting game right now. Can I file my I-751 while separated but not divorced? Yes, essential you're on time, because remember, if you're not on time, you don't apply on time, you can get a notice to appear for deportation. So you want to file your I-751 on time. If you're separated, you can't get it based on divorce, but you can at least start the divorce proceedings. If it's based on mistreatment, you can also apply for mistreatment, which is extreme cruelty or abuse. My daughter is filing for me. Can I add my 19-year-old son to the filing? This is a very good question. Unfortunately not, and it's a big problem. People tend to think they can include their dependents on the application. They can't. And if your daughter were to sponsor your 19-year-old son as a sibling, it's taking at least 14 years now. So usually what happens is you have to become a green card holder and then you have to petition for your 19-year-old son. But you have to make sure you are very careful with that, because as a green card holder, you can't sponsor your 19-year-old for a green card while staying in the US if he overstays his visa. So you have to be careful with that. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for your time. I'm going to work to get on here again tomorrow. What I say, though, because I come on at different times, is like, subscribe, follow, because if you do that, then when I come on, you'll see I'm on. And if you're available, you can hop on to and ask your questions. I really do try. I haven't mastered the 5 days a week yet to be on here, but I'm working towards being on making appearances for 5 days a week. But for now, I think I'm at like 2 to 3 days. So thank you again for joining me, and just look out for me. Like, subscribe, follow, do what you must so that you can see when I go on, you're notified, and you can join me. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for the love.